Get up, get focused, get into your passion. We mow everywhere we go. Yesterday I asked you a question. I asked you, are you a worrier or are you a warrior? Do you let worry strip you of your potential? Because it can. Worry can strip us of the potential we were meant to reach. It can distract us and destroy us. So what do you do with worry? I challenge you to be a warrior and fight the worry that repetitively endangers your mindset. I want to give you some practical steps to become the warrior that defeats worry. Here's practical step number 1. When you feel anxiety of worry coming on, clearly define what you're worried about. Don't try to run from it. Don't try to hide from it. Define what it is. Is it a worry about finances? Is it a worry about a relationship? What is the worry about? Define it and write it down. You have to understand what your worry is. If you try to run from it, then it always stays in the back of your head and keeps repeating itself. So define what your worry is. That requires some work on your part to look into what your thoughts are, what your emotions are, what it is that you're truly worried about, what it is that's truly causing your anxiety. Write that down on paper. Write it down so it becomes real. It becomes what your aim is to destroy, to overcome. See, the true warrior knows his enemy as good as he knows his friends. He studies the enemy. He studies the enemy's every move so that he knows what the attacks look like, so that he clearly understands the enemy. If you have no idea what truly is your enemy and you're fighting an invisible shadow of an enemy, you can't win. So the warrior clearly defines, this is my enemy. This is what I'm after. And that requires you to do the work, to write it down so that you can study it. Now here's the thing. You write it down, and once you define it, walk away from it right then. Get back to your task at hand. The reason worry wins is because it distracts us from our task at hand. It distracts us from our mission. So when you define it and you write it down, then you set a time when you're going to come back and you're going to study what that worry is. Don't let it dominate you at that time, because there's something you need to be doing. Don't let it distract you. The true warrior is not distracted by the enemy. He studies the enemy. So that's your step number 1. You want to be the warrior and destroy worry in your life? This is a practical approach. I use it myself and have for a number of years. What's your worry right now? What's causing your anxiety right now? Get out a piece of paper, a journal, write it down, clearly define it, walk away from it, set a time to come back to it later that same day or the next day, and evaluate what that worry is. We'll get to that in the next days. But step 1, which is crucial, you can't ever pass this point without completing step 1. Define your enemy, define your worry, write it down, walk away. Identify it and walk away. Don't let it distract you from your mission. Make the most of every opportunity when it comes to being the best you can be. Maximize your potential.